This is jace-burner of Team Rainbow Signer doing another Abused and Forgotten.
Alright, hey guys, jace-burner here again with another Abused and Forgotten. As the introduction plainly explained, I'm doing another one. This time, as you'll notice, I don't have the card showing because this one's a bit of a surprise because this one is really forgotten. I'm going to explain it a little bit before I go into what it does. Think of a card that would really help these days. What do decks do now? They swarm the field massively on a huge scale. Your opponent can summon tons and tons of monsters in one turn. How would you stop that? You'd like, oh, bottomless trap hole. Yeah, that's good. What if the monster's too weak? You can't get rid of it. Monster might summon another monster, so bottomless is only going to get rid of one of them. It's a black rose. He still nukes the field. So what's the advantages? How are you going to stop that? Well, what you normally would do, well, you could stop your opponent from summoning. That's one thing. It reminds you of a certain card out there right now called Heat Wave, a little cousin to the Cold Wave card, only this one works for monsters. Thing is, your opponent can still set, and your opponent can still summon normal monsters. I know normal monsters aren't that prevalent right now, so you don't really have to worry about that. But the thing is, Heat Wave also stops yourself from playing cards, which isn't really how I like to play. I prefer stopping my opponent instead of stopping myself. So there's how you do that. Well, simple. You would stop your opponent from normal summoning, special summoning, or setting a card on the field. Seems pretty easily the best idea for you to do. I mean, yeah, that'd be great to do, but there's nothing out there that does that, right? Well, what if I told you there is a card that does that? What if I told you that this card was a trap card and it came out a long, long time ago? Now, this card stops your opponent from normal summoning, setting, or special summoning during the next turn. And what if this card, the only cost was that it only had to be activated during your standby phase and by discarding a card from your hand? How rare do you think that card would be? If it was printed now, this thing would have to be secret rare, it would have to be ultra rare, something really, really rare, and something really, really expensive. Great effect. Why would no one use this? Thing is, this thing came out in Arn't Guardian. Now, if you're still thinking about what this is, I'll just reveal it to you. Little bad boy's called Non-Aggression Area. It's a common trap card. Came out in Arn't Guardian. It states on it, you can only activate this card during your standby phase. Discard one card from your hand. Your opponent cannot normal summon, set, and or special summon during his or her next turn. If you get this your first turn, you're probably going to win. You set this your first turn, your opponent might summon two monsters. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. Okay, they might get rid of some of yours. Your turn, you play Non-Aggression Area. Now your opponent can't play anything except for spells and traps during their turn. Now if any of those spells or traps summon monsters, they can't play them. Now you can swarm the field yourself, take out their monsters, let your opponent go. It's like, okay, your turn. They draw. Well, if it's a 6 Samurai deck, they can't summon anything. They might be able to search for something, but they can't summon. All their cards revolve around summoning monsters. Same thing with X-Sabers. They require you to summon monsters. So what does this thing do? Stops them from summoning. Okay, they can't play any monsters. What do? Your turn. You summon again. Synchro, summon, attack them for game. Easiest win ever. Why is no one using this card? Because it's so old. No one has people probably have this card. This thing, if you go on the internet right now, it's probably priced 50 cents or something. I didn't bother looking up because no one knows what this card does. No one even has this thing. A great card from back in the day. Again, just like Royal Oppression. Royal Oppression was only a rare back when it first came out, and now it's an expensive card to have because they don't reprint that sucker. Non-Aggression Area, if people read this and they see this video and they put this card in their deck, I guarantee you'll win the duel if you play this card. Well, I don't guarantee. There's a really good chance that you're going to win. I can't guarantee anything. Your opponent could draw Exodia for all I know. This doesn't really stop Exodia. It can slow it down though because your opponent can't summon any monsters. But think about it. Your opponent can't summon anything. They can't even set anything. If they had a face down monster, they can flip summon it. I don't know if this thing works for flip summons, but it might. I don't know. Normal summon isn't a flip summon, so. This card is amazing. Get them while you can and play them in every deck you have. I've been messing around with them, putting in my Karakuri decks, trying to see how they work, putting in my Twilight Surprise, seeing how they work. The only downside is it has to activate during your standby phase, and you have to discard a card. If you draw a dead card in your hand during your draw phase, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to use this, into your standby phase, play non-aggression area, just discard the sucker. If Fabled decks use this, you're discarding for a cost. Fabled would just wreak havoc. Now you can't summon anything, and Fables just run off this card. I greatly recommend this card. It's not even abused, because no one used it. It's just completely forgotten. This thing probably has dust on it. You could find one of these things in the bottom of a tin, like half torn up because you completely forgot about it, but no one uses it. Get this card and use it. I'm normally not like this during many of my abused and forgotten videos, but this thing is just outrageous. All my other cards had some downsides, probably a lot of downsides, but this sucker, I can't find very many downsides to it. Play it. Get it, play it, get it, and sell it once this thing gets really expensive, because as all the good players know these days, get a card before it gets popular, then sell it for big bucks. Anyway, I give every card its day, and this time I gave non-aggression area its day for sure. That's jace-burner signing off. Peace, deuces.